Definitely the worst call in my career. And I think a personality like mine and what I try to bring to leadership and caring about people, like it's just worst case scenario, what happened that day. And I want people to know that this is not about my friend's story that's his to tell. What it's about is what we go through as first responders and what I learned through the 43rd mission and our system and our program that we use to help people and help ourselves take control, have some action items, the things you can do, understanding what's going on with you mentally, physiologically, and emotionally, and how we can use that to get through this career. So this story really is about what I went through and how I healed. My name is Jason Winter. My wife and I started the 43rd mission after about 17 years in my career as a police officer, as a first responder family. I spent 4 years during that time as a sex crimes detective, specifically specializing in children. I spent 6 years on the TAC team before I promoted, and I'm currently an active duty patrol sergeant. You know, over the years, one of the things that we've learned was that we had to come together and work through this as a family to be successful. And because of everything that I'd gone through, several years ago, I got diagnosed with PTSD. And I started a long process of trying to figure out how to get through that and how to help others, because I experienced true healing and got back to the job and have done really well with that. And so we are pretty passionate about working with first responders, teaching them the systems that we've learned, explaining the why, and teaching the how. And our passion at 43rd Mission is just helping families stay together and helping people that work in the first responder industry just stay well. So it was a Saturday. We call it our Thursday because we had that night and one more to get through our work week, and we'd be going on a weekend. And I remember getting the call from another sergeant as I was getting ready for work. And this was a friend of ours. He was on my squad. He was the light of our squad. He was a great guy. But he was also struggling. He was going through some stuff, and we knew that. And we were doing everything we could to help him. And I knew by the language that was sent in the text message from him that this was serious. So I just ran out of the house. I think I had a pair of sweats, a t-shirt, and just grabbed a pair of shoes. I told my wife there was an emergency and I would call her on the way and fill her in because I didn't want to cause a ruckus in the house. So I left, and we got information of where he was at up in a hotel room just outside our county. So myself, his peer support provider, and I were talking on the phone, and we were rushing there as fast as we could. And I remember thinking, I got a plan for this, just like my old ATL days on the team. You know, I wanted to make sure I had a plan. I wanted to make sure I had contingencies and contingencies for the contingencies. And I remember in my phone, I was like, okay, I have the names of these people that can help him. I have their personal phone numbers because of the 43rd Mission. I have my credit card. I can get him on a plane today, right now, to where he needs to be. We're gonna help him today. And I remember just thinking that I've got a plan for how this can all come together and how it can all happen. And when we arrived, right with the local PD, me and his peer support arrived, we got the hotel key from the manager, and we went up to the room, and we knocked on the door, and that's when we heard the shot. And I didn't have a contingency for that. So I remember everybody's eyes getting really big, and they all looked back at me. And I looked at them and I said, we got to get in there right now, get in. And so we made entry. And I think, you know, one of the things I'm comfortable with is going into pretty scary environments like that as a team, but you learn to read other people. And I remember the local PD guys, who were awesome, just great guys, making entry into the room. And when they stopped short of the bed, they just stopped and holstered up. And so I knew, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, tourniquets, I've got gauze, we've got, you know, combat gauze if we need it, chest seal, whatever it is, I can fix it. I've got so much training that I can do that I can fix it. And when I got there, I realized it's too late. There was nothing I could do. And I think for us as first responders, you know, we train so much and we have so much skill that when we go through stuff like this and we can't fix it, it gets hard. And fortunately, for what it is, I've been in that scenario quite a few times on patrol. But this time it was my friend. And all I could do was hold him. So I remember thinking, he's not going to die with strangers. He's not going to die alone. So at that point, all I could do was tell him I loved him. I was sorry, and I hope he finds the peace that he needs. And then I remember coming outside when the medics got there, and I saw his other squad mate there, and that's the point I started worrying about other people. Because I knew we had a lot to do, and there was going to be, a lot of people affected by this. So I was doing the best I can just to stay in work mode. And by the time we got down to the lobby, some of our peer support was there, and one of my good friends. And thank God he's a big man, because I fell into him and I just cried. And I remember thinking, I got to pull it together because I've still got people to care for. So we did that. And we head back to the station, and I just want to explain how powerful your network, your friends, your family, the people that support you are. Because when we got back to the station, there was already other people there that were on their day off to cover our shifts. Our shifts were covered. There was pastor there was peer support there. But what really hit me was coming into the back gate of the station and seeing my wife and one of my best friends. And that's when I knew. I was like, this is pretty serious. I'm not doing well. Day one was pretty much just shock. I think it's really ominous feeling just knowing that you're in probably one of the worst days and moments of your life, and understanding that you're in that at the time, and then trying to get through it. So it was a weird feeling, and I still had a lot of, I guess I was really worried about the other people around me, about my squad, the people. I think I had to address them at one point, and I just remember thinking, I don't know what to say other than, I don't want you to be mad. Please don't be mad. Let's get through this together and try to use this as a way to get stronger as friends and as a team. And, I've been a peer support member since we founded it in 2017. I've been a CISM trained, CISM leader. I've done all the things to deal with this, but now I'm the one that needs peer support too. So that was weird. And I recognize that I'm not gonna take this too well, but I'm still riding on being worried about the people around me. Are they getting the help they need? The people that were closest to them, do we have resources for them? Do we have people for them to talk to? Not just phone calls, but actual people to talk to. And one of the things I do, with my squad is if you're going through a traumatic event or something, we try to find a healthy activity to process some of those stress hormones and just help you reground. And we try to find a healthy activity. A lot of times we're walking on the treadmill and talking it out. But there was a huge group of us there now, and my buddy Sean, of course, was there, which was amazing. And Sean, I think episode 1 of our podcast, you'll hear about him, and he decides he's going to open up the training facility for us, and the apartment bought pizza, so we all kind of migrated over there. Anybody that wanted to, or if you're a solitary griever, that's fine too, but we went over there and we decided to just turn on the machines and hit baseballs and just spend some time together, because by this time it was 11, 12 o'clock at night, but for us it's not even lunchtime. So we're all pretty wired, and it was quiet at first, and then maybe 1 or 2 people, and then we started hitting balls a little bit, and it would be a little bit of laughter, a little bit of stories, and then it would get quiet again, and we were all just kind of processing through this together. But it was a really healthy time for us to just get together and do something together, not only as a squad, but just active and healthy, and just work out some of the things we were feeling, which was great. And I think it helped a lot. I actually hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball for the first time. It was pure luck, don't get me wrong. I took a lot of whiffs before I got it, but I got a hold of one, which was amazing. And my hands hurt for about 3 days afterwards, so kudos to those people that play baseball at that level. But it was a healthy activity, and it helped us just kind of reground a little bit before we went home, because we had to wake up early the next morning to do a procession for our friend. And I remember my wife brought me home, and she's like, we got to get to sleep because we got to get up early. And I knew, through everything I've been through, the training that we've had, the stuff that we teach, I knew that sleep was off the table for me for probably several days at least. And I didn't want to spend another night tossing and turning and associate everything I'm going through with nighttime ritual or bedtime. So I told her, I said, I can't do it. I'm going to sleep on the couch. And she was surprised. She's like, really? And I said, yeah, I'm not going to sleep, and I'm not going to keep you up, and I don't want to toss and turn. So I'm just going to stay on the couch. And that's what I did. And I think I passed out at one point. I woke up a couple times crying, but I did pass out. And then we woke up the next day, headed out for the procession. So we suit up in the morning. We had to go up to Madigan to go escort him from the hospital to the medical examiner's office. And I was just shocked at the turnout, the amazing amount of people that wanted to take part in that, not only from our agencies, other agencies, local agencies up there. Pretty impressive how we all came together, and I definitely felt that support. So we get to Madigan, and that was probably to date, one of the hardest things that I've ever done, just because of the gravity of it and just the sadness of it. But when Madigan shut down the hospital for 30 seconds and every staff member saluted him as we went by, what an amazing moment of respect. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that for him. So it was awesome. And we escort him through a huge caravan to the medical examiner's office. And we all get out and kind of say our final goodbyes, which was tough. But I think also helped us heal a little bit for just the finality of it. And we drive back, and my family was getting ready to go camping the next day, which was a blessing for me, big time. And I'll talk about that more, but that's one of my favorite places to be. So we're gearing up and we're loading up, and I get a call from my therapist. And I see it, and I instantly feel bad because I know it's her day off. And she calls and she says, do you need to come in? And I was like, no, actually, everything that I've been part of, the people that have taught me through the 43rd mission, the things that we've tried to bring to other people, created a wellness program and how to get through this. And I told her, I said, I don't think I'd be a very good student of yours right now if I leaned on you in this moment. So I said, I'm going to go do this myself. And I can't describe how that felt in very good words compared to where I've been before in my life and my career. But I can tell you that there was a feeling of hope, that I felt like I could do something about something that was out of my control, and that I knew I was going to be okay, but I also knew I had to go through it. And the best way I can describe that is, no matter what you do, it could be police, it could be fire, it could be ER, it could be, working with mentally ill. I've talked to some people in a funeral home the other day. We all go through some of these same emotions and same things and same processes, but if you can have a way to deal with that and to know that you're gonna be okay, but sometimes this darkness falls on us, and it's just that heavy darkness of the job. And I just have come to learn that in those moments, you got two choices. One is to cower or walk away from it, avoid it, however that means. Maybe you avoid it by activities, maybe avoid it by people, maybe avoid it by self-medicating, alcohol, whatever it is. Or you can step into it. And I felt like I was ready to step into this. I had a good flashlight. I knew the path. I knew where I was going. And by God, I wasn't going to let it keep me down. So wake up on day 3, didn't get much sleep. I remember tossing and turning. I remember waking up several times crying. I had been dealing in the afternoon, of course, that morning, throughout that day with what I call like the movie reels, replaying this in my head and just seeing it over, experiencing the emotion of it. Everything we experienced, I'm experiencing again. I'm trying to keep myself distracted as we load up the camper and get ready to leave. But if I'm being honest, I keep coming back to the movie reels, and sometimes the pictures just flash in your head of those memories. And I know that's normal. I know that I have to go through this. I know that that's how my brain works. That's how yours works. I know I'm not broken, but I want to acknowledge that it's not easy. It's a difficult thing to keep carrying with you. But again, like I said, I had a system. I had action items. I had control of things that I could do, and so I knew it was going to be okay, but it didn't mean it was easy. So we load up the camper, and I'm really relieved because for me, as kind of a more introverted person by nature, as kind of a solitary griever, I knew this is exactly what I need. We're going up to the mountains in our favorite spot. This is exactly where I need to be, as long as it's healthy and I have activities to help, as opposed to, unhealthy things. So my wife decides she's going to stay behind because she's an amazing coach of a franchise, and they were doing some tryouts and she wanted to help the other coaches. And I said, yeah, that's fine. Just come down when you're done. We'll get an early start. We'll have the day down there. So we arrive, and we have a good day, and it's busy, of course, with all the things that we have to do to get everything set up. And night falls, and I remember going to getting, the kids are tucked away, dogs are asleep, everybody's asleep, and it gets quiet. And of course, I'm worried about my wife driving up the mountains in the dark, and so I'm not going to go to sleep anyway, so I'm going to wait up for her. And I remember sitting there just craving. And all day I'd been eating sugar like crazy. I was eating sugar. I was eating anything that I could, little mini donuts that we love. There was, peanut M&Ms, peanut butter M&Ms, whatever I get a hold of, I was eating. My body was just craving the sugar, and I know that that's normal. I know that dopamine stuff, and I know that, and so I'm allowing myself to just kind of partake in this right now because I'm really struggling. And as I sit there at night, it's quiet, I suddenly can't stop thinking about alcohol. And I'm not a drinker. I don't really drink. Occasional beer with friends or whatever, but I've been very, very conscious of avoiding alcohol in this job for a number of different reasons. Some because the policy said I couldn't do it when I was on team, some because wife was pregnant, and then others because I just know that that's a path I don't want to go down. And for the first time in my life, I am craving alcohol. And I'm not talking about like, it'd be nice to have a drink. Like, my body was saying I wanted to get drunk. I wanted alcohol bad. And I knew we had a case of beer with us. And I can't describe how badly I wanted that, like mouth watering. I just could not believe that I was craving alcohol. And I just thought to myself, man, this is real. I mean, this struggle is real. And all I could think of was do is to fill my water bottle, start drinking. And I downloaded a game on my phone, which I never do, because I just wanted something to distract me. And so I'm drinking water and trying to distract myself with this game. And I finally see the headlights come through the dark of my wife arrive. And I was like, I'm so glad she's here, because I can't even describe that. And quite frankly, how much I wanted alcohol in that moment scared the hell out of me. So the next day I wake up and I toss and turn most of the night. I think I woke up once crying, just remembering things. And I remember thinking that I'm having all these other flashbacks now come into my head of all the other similar scenes that I've been through that were like that, specifically regarding suicide. And I remember thinking, thank God I have processed those things. Thank God I have been through what I've been through to get to the wellness, to process that with ART therapy, because I'm not having the emotional reaction to those scenes, but I'm having an emotional reaction to the one I've been through, which I know is normal. But I found it absolutely fascinating that my brain was relating this experience to other similar experiences. And then I remembered our training. And I'm like, yeah, that's what your brain does. It's because it's opening the file cabinet, trying to stuff this memory in the appropriate file cabinet. In this case, similar events. But this one won't go into the filing cabinet because the emotion's attached to it. But when you open it, all those other ones come up. And I think that's how we get in trouble as first responders, when we don't deal with all those other things, even though they might just affect you a little bit here, others more. I had processed that out and filed them accordingly. So yes, they're gonna come up because that's how your brain works. And I remember being thankful that that other stuff wasn't affecting me as much, but it was that day that I'm like, I'm super glad I'm here, because the movie reels, the photos, now all this other stuff I'm dealing with, I'm realizing for the first time, like, I know now I took a hit and it was hard. And I just felt like I'm gonna stay down here, I'm gonna work through this, because I just gotta take a knee. And I remember kind of thinking about the analogy, like, just telling coach, like, I'm still in the game. I'm not out of the game, but I gotta take a knee because I just took a hard hit and I got stuff I gotta work through. And it was that point where the woulda, coulda, shouldas hit me, which happens a lot. I think that happens to a lot of first responders, because now you're going through this memory and you're thinking, if I only would have done this, if I only would have caught that, if that, maybe that one statement, that one time, you know, a month ago was the one time he was trying to reach out, or, you know, maybe if we'd been in the room faster, maybe if we would have done something different, you know. And in the past, I had come up with this mantra, because fear hits us most of the time after the event, not during, is what I've noticed. You know, we go through stuff and we're so focused on our training experience and we're trying to solve the situation and mission accomplished, that it's not till after that you think about how it could have gone bad, how it could have gone this way, how someone could have gotten hurt. And that for me has always been what the fear has set in, not during the event, but after. And that's what I'm experiencing now. And in those events, what I came up with is a mantra that let yourself experience that. Don't push it away, because it's never gonna go away. You have to let yourself run through it, go through the dark. And the way I did that is I said, but it didn't, and I'm okay. So anytime I have that thought, yep, but it didn't happen that way, and I'm okay. That was my way of processing through the dark. Well, this time I had to come up with a new mantra, because the woulda, coulda, shouldas were hard. And I just kept telling myself, but I didn't, and it's gonna be okay. But I didn't, and it's gonna be okay. The next day, I realized that I'm having physiological reactions. I'm craving sugar like nobody's business, which is totally normal. I think it's related to cortisol and stress, leptin, the whole things we talk about in our training. But I'm experiencing it real time. So I decided I've got to drink more water. I've got to focus on my step counts. And I've been trying to hit 10,000 plus steps a day since I was down there. I know I don't want to work out too intensely right now, because I don't want to bring myself back up into that sympathetic nervous system. I want to keep it low and process. And so I'm hitting 12 to 15,000 steps. And I remember just trying to focus on breathing, taking time out to breathe, taking time out to just calm and relax, and then try to get my step counts in with walks, low stuff. I think at that point I've been receiving just a million phone calls and texts and stuff, and my phone was blowing up, and I just wasn't really ready to talk to anybody. So my wife and I decided, hey, let's just post something to our Instagram, which is totally new to us. We weren't big on Instagram. We never had any social media. We have one for 43rd Mission, and we thought, you know, I just want to let people know that I'm okay. But I'm not ready to talk. So we post this picture of just me leaning on her shoulder, just reminding everybody that it's okay to lean on other people right now, and that's what I'm doing. And I remember that night, I still had a lot of pent up energy, and so I decided to go to the gym. They had a gym and a sauna there. It's a little bougie resort that we love. And I decided I'm gonna use it tonight. Well, I didn't realize that it had closed, or is closing pretty much a few minutes after we got there. And so I'm on the treadmill, and the lady comes in and closes the gym. I was like, shoot, I didn't realize it was closing. We just didn't even see the sign. So I go outside, I decided, well, I'm going to walk. It's dark, and it's getting really dark, but I'm just not done yet. And so I remember finding it's a big parking lot. It was the only lit place there. So I just ended up running laps around the parking lot, just trying to clear my head and thinking through it. And the reason I was doing that was because, yeah, I was trying to hit my step count, but more importantly, that bilateral movement that we teach, left brain, right brain, left brain, right brain, is stimulating that same process because I'm not sleeping. I know I'm not processing anything. It's stimulating that process. And so I come back in the dark, I start feeling a lot better, just physically. We have dinner. And I remember being really conscious of my sleep prep that night. Like, I'm going to do the things that I normally do for sleep prep. I'm going to calm myself, read if I have to, not eat too big before for bed, do some breathing exercises to calm myself down, activate that parasympathetic nervous system, and go to sleep. And so that's what I did. So wake up the next day and feel a little bit better. So I check my sleep app, which I monitor my sleep. These are all the stuff that we teach, and I figure I got to practice what I preach. So I checked my sleep app, and I had been getting no restorative sleep for up until then. And I see about a 25% increase in my body battery for the first time. And to me, that was super exciting, and it was a boost of hope because I knew, like, it's working. I'm on my way back to getting sleep, which is exactly what we need so I can have those REM cycles. But it's not perfect, it's not great, but it's something. And I was like, okay, I'll take it. So what else have we learned? And today was the day that I decided to choose my attitude. Again, something we teach as part of the process. Some of the things that you're control over, whether you like it or not, is your attitude. And I decided I'm going to choose my attitude today. And the more I was thinking about it all week long, I chose to be grateful. And that was not easy. And I wanted to be grateful for several reasons. The first was that anything else just seemed to lead me down a negative path or a destructive path. So I chose to be grateful that it was me. Me that was there, me that was first to him, and me that got to hold him. And the reason I was grateful for that is because I was finally in a place in my wellness that I had the capacity to handle that. And so I was grateful that it was me and not one of the guys that I love that could have crushed them if they weren't ready. So I chose to be grateful even though I didn't want to be. And I also chose to be grateful for everything that I've learned, the people that I've learned it from, and I chose to be grateful for the people around me, my family, my wife, the support structure, the friends. I really focused that day on how much I had to be grateful for. And it had such a powerful impact on, I think, my healing, because as much as I was going through something terrible, I still had a lot to be grateful for. So next day I'm feeling pretty good. I'm actually starting to feel like I'm getting some sleep, sleep even better the night before. I'm starting to get a little bit of energy back, and I start realizing to myself, man, I think I'm on the right path here. I'm still dealing with something terrible, of course, and it'll never not be terrible, but the movie reels are shorter. It's only been less than a week, but they're a little bit less in frequency, but the movie reels I'm noticing are getting shorter, and I'm getting a couple different movie reels, and I'm starting to realize that my brain is stuck with emotions on a couple of different aspects of this. But I was really grateful that it wasn't the whole event, it was just these aspects of the event, and I'm starting to realize, oh, those are the things that are getting stuck. And I'm gonna need help sticking those someday, but I'm gonna give it some more time, keep doing what I'm doing, and narrow it down into the things that are stuck. And then that's when I'll go see a therapist. We'll go through ART therapy. We'll process those scenes, help remove that emotion. So I know down the road we got work to do, which gives me hope. I know that there's healing involved, but I also know I'm feeling better. And this is the day, I think it was the last day we were down there. This is the day where I decided, man, I kind of want to see my team again. I want to be around my team. I'm super grateful and just loved the time with my family. But there was something to me that was saying, okay, I'm at a place I need to get back to my brothers and sisters. And I shoot out a text, and we organize for the following day when I come home, a quick barbecue at my house before work, because I didn't want to see them at work for the first time. I just wanted to just hang out with them, let them know I care about them, just have some fellowship with them, and see them before work. And of course the outpouring was great, and the guys all agreed to do that. And now I'm looking forward to going home. Not that I'm not enjoying my time at all, but I am looking forward that there's something I'm looking forward to going home as opposed to dreading it. And I think it's important to say that because there was a time in my career where, I pushed hard and we were doing a lot of things, and it's a stressful job. And there was times where we'd go on vacation and it would take me 2 or 3 days to wind down. And then the last day or two of vacation, I would start winding back up in stress, knowing I'm coming back to work. And here I am in the worst moment of my career, a week later saying, okay, I'm ready to come back. I can't wait to see everybody. So I get back, we have a barbecue at my place. It was great. The guys were awesome. It was good to see them. Some actually came on duty with permission just because they'd already started their shift. It was just really great to be around the guys again and not see them at work for the first time. Just kind of come together. And it went great. And so later that evening, I'm working nights. I suit up, I saddle up, and I take the reins for briefing. And I'll be honest, it did feel a little weird because there was a lot going on. It was heavy. But it was so great to be around everybody, and we didn't avoid it. We talked about it in briefing. We talked about what happened. We talked about, what we were experiencing, how we were feeling. We said, some of our favorite stories about him, and we really decided as a team, number one, we're going to come together through this. And number two, we're going to keep his memory alive by talking about him and by keeping him as much a part of our memory and our shift as we can. Because as great as it was to be around the guys, I had to admit that we were missing 2 members of our team. Him and one of the guys that showed up with us that day was really close with him, worked in his shift, and he wasn't ready to come back. And that was okay. He was doing exactly what he needed to do to get the help he needed, but he just wasn't ready yet, and that was okay. So as much as it was good to be back, there was still kind of this cloud that we were missing 2 of our brothers. But we got through it. Everybody was doing great. And the next coming weeks and months would prove to be, hard and sometimes emotional, but with a commitment to keeping our buddy's memory alive with us. So that week progressed and things started to normalize a little bit. And, we still have work to do. We still have lives to lead. And it's okay, but we're missing our friend. I'm missing my friend, and I'm sad, but we still have to move on. And it reminded me of a time where when my mom passed away, I was on duty, and I got that call in the middle of the night, and I ran there as fast as I can to say goodbye, but I couldn't. And, there's a lot of chaos in that situation and a lot of stuff happening. Of course, we're not going to sleep, and the next morning, the sun comes up and the birds start chirping. And I just remember thinking, the birds sounded happy. They sounded joyful. They sounded like it was a new day for them. And I just remember thinking, screw you birds. Like, screw you guys. Screw you that life gets to go on and you're happy because my world just got rocked. And I remember thinking, that's not fair. And it reminded me of that. Like, we have to keep going on. And for other people, it is a new day. And we have to join them in our new day eventually. And so I'm trying to help other people understand that. And our days and nights are starting to normalize a little bit more, but my movie reels are still stuck. I've narrowed it down to about 2 that keep coming back. And sometimes they come back at night when I'm sleeping. Sometimes they would just randomly pop up in the day for no reason. And it would bring me back there and I would experience emotion with that flashback. And so I realized, okay, these are things that are stuck. And I recognize that one of them I'm really struggling with is the gun. And I realize the reason I'm struggling with that is because I'm a gun guy. I mean, I'm a firearms instructor. I've been a firearms instructor for a long time, stationed at our police department, on the team, I trained for the academy, a state agency. I train. I love firearms, I love training. I had worked for about 2.5 years to get these new firearms in the hands of our police officers. They were upgraded, they were match grade triggers, they were new caliber, holographic sights, the whole thing, the process to go through to get the proposal, to ask for the money, and over the course of about 2.5 years, we finally got them. We finally got them approved. We purchased them. We brought them in. We built each one of them by hand because they weren't assembled with the sighting system. We torqued them down correctly. We would co-witness the sights and get them all ready for the officers. We sent ourselves through intense training to become certified to teach red dot. Really a ton of work gone into this. Really proud of this, accomplishment for our team and for our police department. And we rolled it out. We built new curriculum. We rolled it out. We trained 2 different times. It went really well. And I'm realizing that I finally got these guns into the hands of these guys in July. And it was now August. And seeing it used that way was like worst case scenario for me. I never wanted one of these guns that I'd worked so hard to get us to be used in that way. And so I'm realizing that there's more to it than just the gun, because had I not realized that about myself, I think it would have scared the hell out of me, because that's a big part of my life is firearms. And I was feeling like I don't want to touch another one right now. Like I didn't like the feel of it or the thought of the feel of it in my hand. And that scared me. I was like, God, I can't afford that. That's my job. That's my retirement. That's what I want to do. But I know that that's part of the process. The memory is stuck to the emotion, and the emotion can't get away from that. And that's why it won't fit in the filing cabinet. And so about a month later, that's when I decided, okay, I'm ready to process this scene with therapy, with accelerated resolution therapy, art therapy. Because I've done it before, I know how it is, but I also knew that I had to get through it to the point where I knew what was stuck, so we knew what to process. And that's exactly what we did. And super successful, eternally grateful for that in everything else that I've done, but that scenario as well, because it removed that emotion from the experience. So now I could just think about it as just a really crappy thing that I went through, but I didn't experience it again, if that makes sense. And I think that's the heart at what we're trying to teach at the 43rd Mission, is that post-traumatic stress injury is just that. And you're not broken, you're not alone. There is hope and there is healing. And that's what we got to. And so I got to the point about a month later where I could finally start talking about it a little bit. We processed through the scene, and then I'm more and more comfortable talking about it. And by the end of the year, we incorporated this story about how it all comes together and use what we teach in real time to help you understand what's happening to your body, what's happening to your brain, what's happening with your emotions. And with that understanding, what are some action items, things you can do right now before or as you integrate into therapy and just clear it out. And so I'm really grateful for that, because now it's part of our curriculum, not necessarily the story of what happened, but the story of how I used it, so that people can see in real time, like, I get it. I may never understand what you're going through. None of us will, but I certainly understand pain, and I understand trauma, and I understand how to get through it. And our desire is to tell stories like this so that we can help you understand how you can help yourself. And so I hope that message resonates, and I hope it reaches people, because it's become really important to me and Sarah. The last thing I want to talk about and help people with is what I learned diving into trying to understand suicide after that. Now, I'm not saying that I haven't before. We've all been trained in it, of course, peer support, CISM. We've been trained in suicide prevention as first responders. Of course, we get courses in that, crisis intervention training, how to work with people in crisis and that. But I didn't understand. I was really frustrated because I didn't agree with his decision, but I still loved him. But I didn't understand. I don't get it. As much as I know it exists, I had to be honest with myself and say, I don't understand it. I don't get it. So I had to reach out to other people. I had to take some deep dive into some literature online, everything I could find. And my therapist helped a ton, because she had a ton of experience working with suicidal people before this. And what she taught me was something that I think we need to roll out more and spread the word to people. And it's something that we call the dangerous trifecta. And that is a mix of loneliness, hopelessness, and powerlessness. And when you have all three of those, that's when people are really in trouble. When we talk about loneliness, I'm not talking about just being isolated, because that can be bad or good for some people. I'm not talking about not having people around you, not having a support structure. I'm talking about the kind of loneliness where even those that love you the most, even those that you might love the most, that you might want to be around the most, even when you're in the presence of those people, you still feel alone because they don't get it. And the more you try to talk to them, the less they get it, which means the less you want to talk about it. That's the type of loneliness that I'm talking about. That's a dangerous spot to be in. And I think what I learned is that the way we talk to people, the way we address that has been wrong. We're trying to talk to them about it rather than get them to talk about it. And the next one is hopelessness. If hope is such a powerful thing for us as human beings, and a pastor friend of mine told me the other day, he said hope is the foundation of our soul, which is really true. And I found out that there is physiological reactions to hope. A great example would be Vietnam medics would be working on people, consistently saying how their vitals are deteriorating. They're going downhill, and just the sound of that helicopter, that chopper, that Huey chopper coming in, their vitals would dramatically increase. And the best way to explain that is they had hope, and hope would give them a physiological reaction. When you find yourself in a place where you're hopeless about everything, hopeless about your career, hopeless about your future, that's a dangerous spot to be in. And I want to submit to you again that the way we talk to people about hope may not be the way we think it's as effective as it is. Maybe we want to find out, what does hope mean to them? What things give you hope, rather than telling them all the things that you see in their life that they should be hopeful for. Because it helps us gauge how they're feeling. And the last one is powerlessness. When you're feeling that way and you don't have any control over your emotions, you feel like you don't have any control over your life, your situation, your career, your marriage, you name it. That's tough. And that's tough for first responders, because we're fixers, we're doers. And so not having control is not easy for us. And I think the biggest thing we can do at the 43rd mission is to teach the why, or explain the why and teach the how, which means we really want to dive into, why is your brain feeling this? Why are your emotions feeling this? How is it connected to you physiologically? And why are all these things connected and happening, so that you know that it's normal and you're not alone? So that you have action items after that we can teach to address some of those physiological responses that you're going to have, because they're real. And if I can give you some sort of control or power over even the smallest part of your life, knowing that you're not alone and giving you some hope, that's the mission of the 43rd mission. And ultimately what we want to do is guide you into the things that you can do in your life to take control of your situation, how you are relating to others, but more importantly, at the end of it, all roads lead to a therapist. You've got to have that ART therapy or the EMDR therapy. You've got to have some professional, a mechanic, taking the emotions and removing them from the memory. It's not that you're not capable, it's just that it's redlined and it's too hard for you to do it. And you're having those flashbacks, in my opinion, because your brain's saying, hey, I'm trying to heal. I need some help. I need some help getting through this one. I'm trying to heal, but it won't fit in the drawer. It's too big, it's too stuck. It won't fit in the drawer, so I need some help. That's the process that you're going through. You're not broken. You're doing exactly what your body was designed to do. And when we talk about this stuff in class, we say, if we didn't have those reactions, we wouldn't have survived as a species. We wouldn't have become an apex predator. We would just go get eaten by the tiger every time. But those experiences change our lives and the way we react, and it's not a bad thing. We just have to learn how to work with them. So follow us on the 43rd mission. We'll do everything we can to help you. Feel free to reach out to us anytime. for any trainings that you need or any resources that we have. Our goal is just to have maximum impact daily. Thanks so much for listening to this. It's a tough topic to learn, but I think there's a lot we can go through and learn how we can use and understand the things that we know to be better, to be well, to be better for our families, to be better at what we do, and just sleep well at night, knowing you're well.